some breaking news reported by Mike Garofalo and Ian Rappaport jointly saying the New England Patriots are finalizing a deal to bring back tight end Hunter Henry. This is a no-brainer in my opinion. He was a guy I was considering for the franchise tag, but obviously the Patriots used a transition tag on Kyle Duggar instead. But they had nobody at the tight end position, and look, Mike Gesicki is good in spots, particularly the red zone, but he's really just a large receiver. I like Pharaoh Brown. I think he's going to improve, and there's a lot you can do with him, both as a blocker and a receiver at the tight end position. But Hunter Henry is really the only real weapon they've had at that position since Rob Gronkowski left. They obviously busted on a number of draft picks. Dalton Keene, Devin Asiasi, some of these other guys. Jonnu Smith didn't work out. Even though he played great last year and just signed another lucrative contract. Looks like I think he's going to Miami. Correct me if I'm wrong. But Hunter Henry gives them a guaranteed weapon in that receiving corps, someone that you can trust on game day to do the right things. And he's at least, I think, a top 10 NFL tight end, and he's probably going to get paid as a top 10 NFL tight end. We'll see how that deal manifests in the coming hours and what exactly he will be paid. But you got to bring him back, and it's good to see Henry still wants to return to the Patriots, regardless of who's at the quarterback position. With that really broken down offense, he still wants to come back. So, that is a good sign that free agents still want to play for the Patriots, because there aren't a lot of incentives right now to go to New England unless they're willing to overpay. But glad to see Henry is back, and at the very least, they're keeping a weapon there. And right now we got Hunter Henry and Demario Douglas, and those are the only two real NFL starters, right, that are part of that receiving core. I hope they bring back Gesicki and Pharaoh Brown, but not the end of the world if you lose those guys and try to build up the tight end position either through free agency, add depth there, or through the draft. But getting Hunter Henry is a big deal and probably will mean the Patriots will prioritize receiver over tight end in the draft, if I just had to guess. Another story broke yesterday. The Patriots are adding tackle, I hope I'm pronouncing this right, Chukwuma Okorafor, formerly of the Pittsburgh Steelers. He's coming in, signing 4 days before free agency week begins. Okorafor was a third-round draft pick in 2018. He's been kind of a rotational player for the Steelers, but ultimately became a pretty competent right tackle there. He did get benched midway through the 2023 season, but he's had 61 NFL starts, and I don't expect him to be the starter at the tackle position unless we don't bring Onwenu back, or we bring Onwenu back and draft another tackle, and one of those guys goes down before the start of the season. This is more to add competent depth at the tackle position. And, we really didn't have that last year with Vidarian Lowe, who really hasn't been great filling in at the tackle spot. The last 2 seasons, there's Riley Reif, who wasn't able to contribute anything. Still a few other in-house free agents. Trent Brown, Michael Onwenu, as I said, who I hope they prioritize and bring back the same way they did Hunter Henry and Riley Reif as well. Now, again, Okorafor, this is really just depth. Don't expect him to be a starter unless there's injuries, but it guarantees you at least have someone better than a Vidarian Lowe out there in case you do lose someone at the tackle spot. Okorafor's contract will impact the Patriots' salary cap space. They signed him for a 1-year deal with a base value of $4 million, which could go as high as $8.25 million if he does get a lot of playing time with incentives built in. So you don't have to use him. You're not paying him much. You do have to use him. Hopefully he contributes and you pay him a little bit more and he earns it with some of those incentives. Now, this signing will not impact the compensatory draft formula for the Steelers since he was released and is not a compensatory free agent. So Pittsburgh's not getting anything out of this. I think this is a great deal. Nothing to be too super excited about, but you do need depth on that offensive line, particularly at the tackle spots. They certainly have plenty of depth at the guard positions and even center. Hopefully David Andrews comes back as well. But this was a good move, but nothing that is going to be going to elevate the Patriots. It's just going to help them not skip a beat, hopefully, if Onwenu comes back and goes down, Trent Brown comes back or goes down, they sign Tyron Smith or Jonah Williams, they go down. Certainly Tyron Smith has an injury history. Any of those come back, play the tackle position, they go down. Okorafor is going to be there, and hopefully that O-line doesn't skip a beat. Some other news that recently broke: the Patriots are also bringing back cornerback Alex Austin, who is re-signed. Now, he was set for exclusive rights free agency and still chose to return to the Patriots after they tendered him. Originally, Alex Austin was drafted by the Bills before last season, and was claimed off waivers by the Texans before he ultimately joined the New England Patriots. Only played about 5 games last year, but did play 211 defensive snaps, recorded 9 tackles, an interception, and defended 2 passes. So Alex Austin, I think, is a developing guy. Certainly contributed a little bit. Not a guy who you hope to have out there in the starting lineup, but adds some depth there at the cornerback position. And certainly with Gonzo going down last year and other players kind of battered throughout the season, Alex Austin was able to step up and be there to contribute for the Patriots, and did a pretty decent job considering his role. So good to see he will be returning to the team. But that's it for this episode of PatsCast. Unless there is any breaking news in the meantime, we'll be back next week as NFL free agency kicks off. Going to be a lot of breaking news, I'm sure, during that time. We'll be here to cover it. Be sure to like this video, subscribe to this channel, share it with your friends, and let me know in the comments, are you happy about the Hunter Henry deal? Do you like Drake May? Is he a guy you would draft at number 3 overall? Do you want to trade back the pick, draft Marvin Harrison, or do something else? Maybe McCarthy, maybe you want to get one of the quarterbacks later in the draft. Let me know in the comments below. I'm curious to hear from you, and we'll be back next week.